So in order to actually track what you've got going on in your system, you go to the reports area. So let's click reports. And we want to look at active distributions. And in order to make these training videos, we created a variety of active distributions that we're going to go in. You may recall we had one that was called FedEx. If we go down into this session, you can see the location that it originated from, who initiated the session, the date stamp when it was initiated, and the priority of its delivery. But if you notice, the sender's transfer agent location is offline. And if you hover over it, you also get that type of thing as well. And it'll also give you the number of minutes since that transfer agent has been active. So we've got an interesting scenario here. We have a location that's offline sending to a location that's offline. What will happen here is the next time both of these locations come online, the portal will notice that, see what's in the queue, and automatically initiate the delivery from training 2 to Doug training. There's nothing for the user to do. Let's go back to active distributions for a sec. We have another scenario called movies, where the mark location is where is the file coming from. You remember in the other video that was coming from a location in the UK. The initiator was me, the date stamp and so on, and where is it going? So you may recall this was originating files from one location in the world, moving them to another location somewhere else in the world, and the initiator, me, had nothing at all to do with being in either of those locations. You are allowed to do that as long as you're part of the project. So in this case, we've got the sender location offline, and we can hover over that and see how long that's been. So that location has been offline for a considerable amount of time. The destination that it's going to go to is online. So what will happen in this scenario is the next time Mark's location comes online, the portal will sense that and initiate the delivery to this location automatically. And if there were any proxies involved in this session, you can click on Show Proxies and it'll reveal them. In this case, there is what we call the development server proxy, which is online and active, ready waiting for Mark's location to begin sending. Now the reason we have a proxy in this delivery is because my Mac is always roaming. So I'm never really in a situation where I have the ability to do firewall configuration. I might be in a coffee shop, for example. So there's no way that that can happen. So you need to have a proxy in this type of delivery. One more, back to active distributions. We have another session that we've initiated. It's coming from my Mac, and I was the initiator, date stamp and the priority. And it shows, yes, it's coming from my Mac, and it's going to another gentleman's location on the East Coast called Marty Mac. Do we have any proxies involved in this? Let's click and see. No, we don't. And the reason we don't is because Marty Mac has port 4115 open to allow direct connect. And this is part of the intelligent routing processes inside of AIRShip. As long as you have one of the participants in this transaction configured to use port 4115, the other one doesn't, nor do we need a proxy for this. So this session is basically sitting in a standby mode in the queue, waiting to go. But because we have other sessions in the queue ahead of this one associated with these locations, or at least one of the locations, this session isn't going to begin until all of those others are complete. And you may recall that some of those locations were offline. So there's a queue problem going on here. So if you go back to active distributions, you can, if you have company or systems admin privileges, you will see the priority polls here. So you can actually take this session, which is the last in the queue, and promote it to urgent and save the change. Now what will happen is it'll move it to the front of the queue and begin initiating that session as quickly as possible.